Hey everybody, it's katerichbourg and I am live from my jewelry studio here in South San Francisco. Hi everybody, hi, look everybody's coming on. It's like a party, woohoo, it's awesome. I just wanted to say hello, thank you everybody for jumping on this morning. I'm gonna grab, of course, where did I put my little sign? I had my little sign to show you. It's over there. Hang on, hold that thought, you guys, while everyone's jumping on. Jumping, here I go, grabbing my sign. There we are. Woohoo! Yay, hey Lorianne and Beth, how are you guys? All the way from Toronto, my Toronto friends, awesome. So let me give you a little background while people are jumping on so you guys know what to expect if it's your first time here. Hello, hello. Oh, look, all my buddies are on. Janice and Cindy and, doing the romper room hellos. I see Zoe, I see Beth, I see Lorianne. Hello, oh, there's Kim Marie. Hi, Kim Marie, it's great to have you on. It's great to see you. Hey, Francine, how are you? So just to give you guys a little bit of a background, I'm katerichbourg, and as always, hey, Ellen, you can find me, all things katerichbourg. I'm gonna hold this up so you guys can see. All things katerichbourg, you can find me right over on my website, katerichbourg.com. It has links to all of my stuff that I do, so you can find it all there. If you dig these broadcasts that I'm doing on Periscope, I do them live every Friday from my studio, unless I'm traveling. Then I take you guys on the road with me to see all kinds of cool stuff. But you can find these broadcasts later on Catch, and you can go to catch.me to my katerichbourg channel, or you can also find me on YouTube. And just as a reminder, I love it when you guys tap the screen for little hearts. Good morning, Sonia, how are you? You tap the screen for hearts, you hit the little, oh, look at all those hearts, thank you so much. You can see the little person silhouette that's on the bottom of your screen. If you tap that, then you can swipe and share it with other people who might like to see it. The more people who watch this, even better. It just gets me out there and gets people doing what I love to do, which is learning about jewelry making. Also, if you guys want to remember anything, like when I hold up this sign, you can take a screenshot of it using the home button and the top button on your device. So if you do want to take a screenshot of that, it'll just save right to your camera roll. So anytime I do anything in a demo, you guys can just screenshot that and hang on to it. So what we're going to be doing today, you guys, is I have been playing around with all kinds. Oh, there's my mom. Hi, Ma. How are you? I've been playing around with, let me hold this up right to the camera so you guys can see it, with enameling and dyes, not only vintage dyes from India, and I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about where I find some of those. I also have been using dyes from my buddy Kevin Potter, right? So I have two of those. I'm going to move your, I know, Krista, aren't those awesome? Hey, Miss Emily, there's Emily watching. I'm going to move you guys over so you guys can see, hopefully. I'm telling you, I'm going to need a cameraman soon. Can you guys kind of see that? I might actually, you know what? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take you guys real quick out of the holder here so you guys can actually see what I've got going on. So bear with me here just a second. I'm taking you out of my fancy holder. And I'm going to flip this around. I know, I need a camera girl, right? There we go. Okay. So now you can see what's on my workbench pretty well. Okay. So the dyes that I'm talking about here are these vintage Indian brass dyes. They're traditionally used for jewelry making in India, and I'll get right up close and personal on there. Can you see that detail? They're usually pretty thick, usually made of brass, and they impress your metal just like that, okay? And so this is copper that I used here. And I've been using all kinds of different metals. This happens to be 24 gauge copper, and that's what I'm going to be using today. I also have the one that I'm going to be enameling on today. This is a die from my buddy Kevin Potter. Those of you who are kind of in the jewelry world or have been on social media in the jewelry world might be familiar with kind of the hydraulic press is really having a moment right now. And these are really cool metal dies. They're made of steel that Kevin Potter makes. And you can see this is a two-sided one. It has a small star on that side and a bigger star on the other. And when you impress it in your hydraulic press, that's the impression. Hey, how are you? Good morning. So you can see those guys there. The cool thing about these, and you can go back to my Catch channel and watch the Periscope that I did while I was at Kevin Potter's studio in Tucson, Arizona. He talks about how he makes all of these dies. He has a ton of them up on his website right now, so they're really, really great. So a hydraulic press is definitely an investment that, you know, it's not like a tiny little jewelry tool. It's a pretty big one. But the footprint's pretty small, and he's really made it very user-friendly for kind of the DIY jeweler to work with it. I've also been playing around. This is another class that I'm going to be doing, but this is a ring die from India as well. And I impressed these last night when I was working. You can see, here's the impression. This is on sterling. Oh, you did? Oh, good work, Krista. I can't wait to see what you do with it. They're so fun to work with. This is a heavier gauge. This is sterling silver here. And the sterling silver, it's a pretty thick gauge, probably about 18 gauge. And I got that impression. I'm going to try and get really close up on it so you guys can see. That impression came out really, really well with using the hydraulic press. And, you know, those of you who watched my Periscope a few weeks ago when I was kind of starting to play with the hydraulic press and the dies, I've gotten a lot better since then. I've been doing a lot of practicing. The thing with the hydraulic press when you're using these dies, you guys, is that I have been using lead, and you want to use lead that's kind of a small shape. So I don't want to pack a whole layer of lead here. What I really want to do is use a small piece that acts as a pusher, so it pushes this metal right into the die. So if you have a piece of lead that's too big, it's not going to work quite as effectively. As well as anneal when you're doing this process. This one here, I actually went through and I impressed it 3 different times. And that's what really gave me this super crisp impression right here. And you can see this other one. Look at this one, this ring die right here. I wanted to compare and contrast how fine silver worked against sterling silver. So this one I did in fine silver. And can you see that there? That's going to be a lovely top of the ring. The gauge, this is about 18 gauge. For both of these. And again, I went in with the fine silver, I impressed twice, and with the sterling silver, I impressed 3 times. The other trick that I learned, and let's get to kind of jumping in what we're going to be doing today. The other trick that I've been doing, you can see here is what I'm going to be working with today, what I'm going to be enameling. And can you see here? Whoops, sorry about that. I was having a camera moment. You can see here, this is the impression of that star. You know what I do for the lead is, let me take you over here. Let me take you over here to my bench, and I'll actually show you what the lead starts to look like. What I do is, there's my little wad of lead right there, and usually I'll wear some gloves, but I'll put it out here so you guys can see it. In the hydraulic press, the lead, yeah, I always wear gloves when I use the lead. And you can see when the lead goes through the press, it starts to get kind of mushed into this big lump like this. Well, what I do is I get a little piece of the lead like this, and it kind of starts to break off and stuff like that. So can you see that little piece if I were going to use that in one of my ring dies, what I would do is I'd actually probably hammer this in half so it's a thinner piece like this, and then I would just put it right in my hydraulic press on top of the die. What I've also been doing is, just to protect my press, I don't know if it protects it or it just makes me feel better, I've got some inner tube that actually I place right on top of it over the die. And the inner tube I got was, I went to the automotive store and just got a trailer tire inner tube like that, and I've been cutting it up like so. So it really helps. And you guys can also just use the tire tube. It doesn't give you quite a crisp of impression. You have to use quite a bit of, you can see I've used it there, it's kind of been poking through. So you'd use it like smushed quite a few times like that to push into the die like so. But there's lots of different ways that you can do it. Some other people are using some different things other than lead. I read that someone's using bismuth, which is a metal that, some bismuth casting grain, that would also work. But for now, I think with the proper precaution of, you know, you're not going to go up and lick the lead, right? And you're going to wash your hands, and I always wipe down my surfaces. So I think it works out well. Yeah, I also use leather as well. I actually use leather and wet it. And the secondary kind of fun thing for leather, when you use leather to help you impress, is that the leather is also impressed with the pattern from the die. So that's kind of a cool secondary benefit to using leather as well. So I'm going to put you guys back in the, you guys can see my messy studio, my beloved sewing machines down there on the floor, which will have a home soon. Let me put you back here and let me position everything so we can get started on this demo. I'm going to move you guys a little bit closer, and then I'll turn you guys around so you can see what's shaking. There we go. Okay, and let me move you here, and let me tap. Oh, thanks. It's coming together. You know, my studio, it's like my happy place, right? I do love it. There's where all my students, I have 2 student tables there that my students sit at. And I am going to do a Periscope on organizing, because last year was the year. It's always a work in progress, that's for sure. Last year was the year that I did get some organization in my life, which was awesome. Yeah, isn't it? Oh, thanks, Janice. It's always good to have you in my classes, for sure. Oh, sure, Laura. Well, what I'll do is, after I do this demo, I'll pan, because I'm almost in position for this demo. And once I'm in position, I dare not move it. Sorry, thanks for putting up with my camera spacing. Let me see if I can do this right. There we go. I like the looks of that. This big rig here. There we go. Totally. There we go. Can you guys can kind of see that. If you guys could actually see, I need to have someone actually periscope when I'm trying to do all of this maneuvering. There we go. Let's see if I can make that happen. You know, I have this fancy rig here. It might even be easier just to put it in my jewelry vise. There we go. I think you guys can see. Okay. There we go. All right. Perfect. So I'm going to be working right here so you guys can kind of see what's shaking. So to get started, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you here to use this die, or I use this die here. We want to position it, our blank. Again, this is just a 24 gauge copper metal blank. And what you can do is you can draw some registration marks on both your die and your blank to line everything up. And then what I did was I just placed it on top. But the thing that I have found in the past is that the blank wants to move around as I put it through the press. So I use some painter's tape to just tape it right on the top, like so, and it keeps everything from moving. The other thing that I found also, if I don't have to have a big overlap of metal on the sides here, if I have a piece of metal that's about the size of the die, I also find that the impression is a little bit better. You can see this was the size of the hand one that I used here. And you can see it's about the same size. And since I'm going to actually be cutting this out a little bit later anyway, like I did this one, I don't want to waste too much of the sterling metal. So again, you can see there's still a bit of tape residue on the back. And that was just taped right on top. So we do that. And I mostly teach jewelry fused Hawaii. I don't really sell it much, though sometimes I do on my website. So you can see here, here's this guy that I did, and this die, I didn't line it up too much because I wasn't too worried about it, but you can see here how that fit and how this just came off just like so. Okay, and I give it, that's right, I make jewelry and I give it to my mom. It's true. It's true. That's the best recipient. I think she probably still has the first piece of jewelry that I've ever given her. Maybe someday I'll show it to you. It's not it's not my magnum opus, that's for sure. So after to start with this, as a reminder, my metal piece that I put in here, I also was macaroni involved. Smarty pants. How'd you know, Laura? No, it was a little after my macaroni days. But you know what? My mom, oh, thank you. That's super awesome. Things like that just make my day. That's so funny. Yeah, no, my mom would wear pretty much anything I made for her. But it was a little after my macaroni days, thank goodness. But I was super proud of it. So she wears it. But now my jewelry's gotten a little more sophisticated. So the blank that I put on top of here, you guys, I go ahead and I anneal it, okay? And I have scrubbed, before I'm enameling this, I scrubbed my blank with a little bit of Dawn dishwashing liquid and my brass brush to clean it, just to make sure that it was fairly free of finger oils and stuff like that. And so a little bit of this metal, you can see it's a little discolored, but that's not going to hurt with the enamels. I'm also not going to counter enamel the back. You can see on this one that's finished here how I didn't counter enamel. Yeah, you can find all the info for my classes and everything. You can go right to my website, katerichbourg.com, and all of that info is right there for you. You can also reach out via any of my social media, and we can certainly make that happen. Perfect. So you can see if I did want to counter enamel, you guys, which means having a layer of enamel on the back and the front, I would go ahead and I'd counter enamel first. You guys may know my buddy Stephen James. He has a new book coming out on enameling, and it'll be a great one, you know, and I should have gotten the name of it, but it's on Amazon right now for pre-order. So if you just go and look up Stephen James on Amazon, Stephen James Enameling, it'll come up and you can go ahead and pre-order it. Yeah, I love him too, Krista. He's an old friend of mine, a very dear friend. So I would go ahead and counter enamel first, and usually I counter enamel just in black. This is just fire scale right here on the back here. So, but here on the front is the regular enameling. So if we were to counter enamel, as I said, we'd do that first. So now we're going to go ahead and get the enamel on the front of this piece. So I'm going to go and dip this blank. In order for the enamel to adhere to the copper, there needs to be some kind of adherent for that. My friend Eugenia Chen, who is a great enameler, she uses a thin layer of hairspray on the top, which was a really great tip that I learned from her. But I happen to have, whoops, so I dropped this on the floor. I happen to have this product. It's called Clearfire. It's from Thompson Enamels, and Clearfire is what I have in this little bowl right here. And what it is it's just a little adhesive, and I come in with my blank and I'm just going to dip it just like so, okay? And this is ready. I'm going to shake off the extra.